Imagine, the year is 1965. This is not just a date on a calendar, but a period pulsing with the power of a storm. In this whirlwind of history is a man whose name will not be mentioned in history. Perry Holmes Jr. He's starting a business. Now, any business owner will tell you when launching out into the deep sea of entrepreneurship, it takes audacity. But to place your business in an all-white neighborhood as a black man in the 60s is ludicrous, not to mention extremely dangerous. But that's what this history maker did. This history maker is my dad. He breathed life into Suffern Auto Radiator at a time where they probably wish he had put his business somewhere else. But he, after hearing that this fearless dream was about to take birth, his boss, Jack, fired him on the spot, challenged with feeding 7 mouths, 2 of which showed up right when he got fired. Yes, twins. It didn't deter Dad. He not only rose to the occasion, but he soared. Suffern Auto Radiator was not just a business for him. It was a statement. It was his stage. It was his defiance, his hope personified. I was 7 years old, and I was a wide-eyed wonder watching every move my father made. By the time I was 8, I was fixing cars and preparing invoices. In the midst of this gritty, greasy, metal place, my father not just taught me about business, he showed me what it could be like to turn the impossible into the inevitable. One day, a man came into the shop. He was as tall as an oak tree, and as his voice rumbled like thunder, he growled, "Boy, where's the boss?" And I got ready to tell him who the boss really was. And my father shot me a look that was sharper than any tool in his tool belt. You know the look, that zip it look. And as cool as a summer breeze, he says to the man, "The boss is not in, but he left me in charge." He dismantled this man's doubt with dignity. This wasn't just a deflection. This was a deliberate strategy, one that he used over and over again for almost 10 years, until the man they saw opening and closing the shop day in and day out became recognized as the real boss. This shop of my father's was standing for 35 years. Now fast forward with me 5 decades. The scene is a moment with my mom. We're at a women's conference in the plush, palatial penthouse of a prestigious hotel. Out of our window, we can see the horizon as far as the eye can see, the sea meeting the water. My mother, in her melodic, sweet voice, says, "We stayed in the penthouse for 4 days." Her statement at face value was really uneventful for me until I realized her experience of 84 years, like being raised on a plantation or being denied riding a bus or never being able to stay in a hotel. Her reality through her lens emerged in me. Here she was, a welcomed guest, being treated like a queen in a penthouse hotel for 4 days. And here I stand with the statement, there is no such thing as racism. It's interesting, though, that in this age of diversity, there is a whole new plethora of diversity connoisseurs who have never experienced what I just described. But where do we go from here? I say we have a strategy. Yes, it is a bold statement. Yes, it's a bold dream. But if I could give you a challenge of strategy that I call the steps. S in steps stands for study histories, not just the history of our own, but histories around the world to get an idea of how other people think and live. T, talk, but listen to other people's experiences and allow them to stand in their truth. E, examine stereotypes, those things that we hear that are just not true. In every conversation, you have an opportunity to dispel. P, promote inclusivity. Lift every voice, link every life, and put a light under every legacy. Because here I stand in the shadow of the legacy of my mother and father, and knowing that the sound of there is no such thing as racism actually bristles some of your hairs on the back of your neck. Because I am bold like my father, with the audacity like my father, to believe that one day this won't just be an unrealistic dream. It will be an undeniable truth. I'm Barbara H. Smith, and that's my narrative for TEDx.